Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the page, please be sure to give us a like and a sub so you're not missing any of the content we have coming out. And today we're going to be diving into The Flash, issue number 765. Now we are just coming off a huge arc. And that was the Flash finish line, where we really got a retcon of the Reverse Flash on Earbud Dawn. And with this issue, we're getting a new writer. We're getting Kevin Shinick. Now, I'm not too familiar with much of his work, but I am relatively excited for him to be covering the Flash. After reading this issue, I have a little bit of confidence in his capability to write decent villains for the Flash, at the very least. And we'll get into that more at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So diving into this one, we pick up a little bit further on down the line. And it's the anniversary of the day his mother died. And for once, he's not diving into work. You know, the Flash is usually always just burying himself in work, and especially today of all days. But, you know, this year he decided to spend it with Iris. And so they go to the farmer's market and you know, enjoy a little bit of time together. They make plans to have like a movie night, you know, dinner and a pizza. And she makes a comment like, it would be really awesome if we had that pizza, you know, that we had in New York. And, you know, the Flash being the Flash takes off. But 2,000 miles later, and a couple of seconds, Flash realizes something is wrong. Something's not right here. And he stops almost half naked, realizing that his ring didn't deploy his suit. And then to further that, he realizes that he doesn't even have his ring on at all. And his first thought is, who is fast enough to steal from me? Now, picking up in their apartment, they're searching, you know, and he's almost the typical guy in this aspect. You know, looking everywhere for your keys, trying to find out what happened, retracing your steps, you know, Iris kind of being a smart aleck about it. And Iris is just like, you know, why don't you just use one of your other Flash costumes? Like, why is it such a big deal about this ring? And Barry tells her, like, this ring's unique. You know, it's a mixture of gold and stainless steel, but it also has a very special alloy that he created. And it's just pretty much it's irreplaceable. And so Barry goes ahead and retraces his steps. And he heads back to the carnival. He heads back to the farmer's market. You know, they had arcades and all kinds of things that he had stopped at. And he wanted to check them out and see what's what. And this is when the Flash sees somebody that he's pretty sure, like, is the cause of this. Because he's just around. And it's Trickster. And the Flash tornadoes him up into the sky. And Trickster's just like, yo, what did I do wrong? And even the cops are like, hey, man, like, Flash, listen, like, I don't usually say this, but, you know, he's right. Like, he hasn't actually committed any crimes here today. And what we have here is Trickster apparently trying to play off, at least, like he's a legitimate business owner. And he opened this new establishment, which is just pinball and chicken wings, essentially. You know, Barry obviously skeptical, because this is a Trickster at the end of the day. Like, he's got to be up to something, even if he's not the one that stole the ring. And so Flash decides to go inside and take a look around and see what's what. And upon going inside, he sees a giant game that says, Win Flash's Ring. And to Barry's surprise, like, the whole arcade looks a lot different than it did earlier in the day. And Trickster doesn't know Barry's secret identity. So automatically the Flash can assume that he's just been randomly robbing folks that come in there. And then he refocused his efforts after he discovered what he pretty much unwittingly obtained. And as Barry goes to get his ring back, we see a girl falling into a spike pit, and the Flash rescues her, not realizing it until, you know, it's already happened, that it's a mannequin, it's a doll. And Trickster hands Barry Allen a pair of X-ray vision goggles and looks through the wall and sees regular people betting on the Flash, on how fast he could save somebody's life. And so it pretty much Trickster's made a game out of what the Flash can do. You know, he's made a gambling bets, and people are just throwing money at this. You know, will he save her? How fast will he run? You know, can his costume prevent precipitation? All these things, they're just being betted on, and people are just throwing their money at Trickster. And Trickster lets him know, like, you can go for your ring, just know that every choice that you make affects the people's lives. Or you could do this one thing with me. Let's take an IQ test. And what Trickster shows us here is that he hasn't been working alone. He's been working with Riddler, he's been working with Prankster, he's been working with Toyman, he's been working with Clue Master. He's got all these guys in on it to create this essentially illegal gambling establishment betting on superheroes, or at least the Flash in this instant. And this is where Trickster takes the ring out of his jacket and throws it into the group. Barry, unknowing which one has it, they all take off. And so pretty much it's like a shell game, you know, the ultimate shell game. And so Barry decides to go after Prankster. You know, he's the one on what seems to be an electric bike, you know, a tech bike. He's the one on a vehicle, so he's the one that, you know, will be the hardest to catch up to. But it's seemingly like Prankster's able to just outrun him almost. And this is when Toyman launches a giant fist at Barry and knocks him straight on his butt. And Barry gets up to punch him and then just punches right through him. And this is where Barry realizes that he is in a video game. He's been chasing projections this whole time. When Trickster put on the X-ray goggles for Barry to see the people gambling, this is the time that he was pretty much dove into the video game. And so it was essentially a virtual reality thrown onto his head. And players are taking turns being the Flash's nemesis, while he runs around through the city chasing hard light projections of bad guys. And so Barry comes out of the virtual reality, and when he comes out of it, he sees that Trickster has the ring on his hand. And Barry's just, you know, kind of tries to plead with him. He's like, you know, I really want you to give me my ring back. Like, please, like, just hand it over to me. And Trickster asks him, like, you know, I'll give you the ring, but tell me what's so special about this. You know, I noticed there's a mysterious element in the mix. What's your secret, Flash? Why does a speedster need a ring? And so Barry tells him, like, you win. You know, it's a special alloy I created to help me in the Speed Force. When I touch the side of it, the ring produces what I need to be the Flash. And this is where Trickster goes to deploy the Flash suit. You know, and Barry didn't lie to him here. You know, the metal does serve a purpose in the Speed Force. He just neglected to tell him that the ring produces the Flash suit, and when it shoots out, it emerges with the force of 9 airbags. You know, for a speedster, that's nothing. But for someone like Trickster, they get knocked out instantly. Now, picking up with Barry and Iris, we really get understanding of why this ring is so special. You know, he wanted this ring to stand for something. You know, so each time that he used it, he could remind himself of why he does it and who he does it for. His mother's death and his father's imprisonment are the most impactful things on his life. And so he took their wedding rings and smelted them together and forged a ring of his own. And in addition to housing the costume, it also brings him hope. On otherwise dark days, on dark times, he's always got that symbol of hope right there on his hand to help him push through. Now, picking up at Iron Heights Penitentiary, we have Dr. Alchemy reading the newspaper about what happened with Trickster. And Dr. Alchemy pretty much says, like, Trickster serves as my turning point, because his element is the element of surprise. And it's time for Dr. Alchemy to strike. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you enjoying this new writer's take on the Flash? I personally am enjoying it. I like Trickster. I like how he wrote him. I think it's really unique to the character. You know, a little bit of backstory on the ring. Not too crazy in depth of a change or anything like that. It's just saying, you know, this ring is partially my father, partially my mother. It's part of what gives me hope and gives me drive to go forward. So all in all, it's a pretty wholesome, you know, relatively innocent comic. There wasn't a whole lot of people getting hurt or anything like that. It's just a Trickster playing his games as usual, trying to make a quick buck. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you haven't yet, please be sure to like and subscribe to the page. And until the next video.